Kazakh national handcrafts make up the precious roots of steppe culture. They provide an inside look into nomadic lives. The art of the nation who once lived upon the Great Steppe is pictured here through wood and iron processing, jewelry and felting. Many programs modernize the culture of hunting, falconry, horse training and racing. Take a look inside the Kazakh culture on the program KazArt.
Almaty is not only a beautiful city, it is a city with many old buildings, full of historical museums. Houses which were built 2 centuries ago have become museums. The history of the city and the history of the museums have developed together. There are house museums of such historical figures as writers and historians. One of them is a museum in the house where Sabit Mukanov lived. Currently, this house is a museum rich with history.
Қазір Қазақстанда көптеген музейлер бар. Ол тіптен үлкен ірі музейлерден бастап мектептегі музейлерге шейін.
There are a variety of museums, and it is not easy to count them all, from the small museums and private museums to the big ones. There are a few museums where writers and poets lived. If we will mention some of them, there is a Baez Museum in Jibek, the Museum of Dostoevsky, the Museum of Sarkhan Seyfulin in Astana, the Museum of Ilyas Jansugurov in Taldykorgan, the Museum of Mukagali Mukatayev in Karasav, and the Museum of Malik Gabdulin in Kokshetau. The museums of Mukhtar Awezov, Sabit Mukanov, Gabit Musarepov, and Ahmet Baytasinullah can be found in Almaty. We can highlight from among them the Museum of Sabit Mukanov. He lived here till the end of his life and wrote his works here in 1965.
1965 жылдардан өмірдің соңына шейін осы үйде тұрып еңбек етті.
The writer lived here since 1965. The last year of his life was spent here, and he died in this house in 1973. The writer's wife, Maryam, asked to make this house into a museum in 1978. Currently, more than 8,000 titles are exhibited there, and approximately 4,000 of his works as a writer. The museum is divided into 2 parts, literature and memorial. Each part consists of 3 rooms. The rooms are big and well organized. When people come into the room, they can notice the comfort. The literature room is full of books and his written articles. In the memorial room, you can see the writer's bed, clothes and other items which he used in his life.
Жазушылардың ішіндегі кітапханасы өте бай, жазушылардың бірі осы Sabit Mukanov. Сәбеннің жеке кітапханасында
Sabit Mukanov was a writer with a rich library. Among his private library, he had an encyclopedic dictionary. Also, he had collected 30 of Gorky's books, along with the books of Dostoevsky and other foreign writers such as Charles Dickens. If we can talk about his family, Sabit and his wife Maryam brought up 6 children, 4 sons and 2 daughters. Unfortunately, his sons have died. Currently, his 2 daughters live in Almaty. When we talk about the writer's museum, the books on the shelves come to mind. Sabit Mukanov's museum is full of books. The writer left his signature on the first page of each book in his library. You can also see each book which he has read and left notes in. In some of them he has written sentences. A book is an eternal treasure. Sabit's library is a museum for the preservation of these books.
Sabit Mukanov ең көп хат алысқан, ең көп хат жазысқан, және ол хаттардың екінші данасын өзінде сақтап отырған жазушы. Көзі тірісінде мына орталық мұрағаттың қызметкерлеріне айтып, менде мынау хаттар өте көп, соны
Sabit Mukanov wrote a lot of letters and saved a second copy of them. When he was alive, he asked the employees of the Central Museum, "I have a lot of letters you can take to the museum and sort out." The letters were taken by truck, and in 4 to 5 months they became a book with 141 parts. Currently we have this treasure. Among them you can see photos and the writer's signature. For example, a photo with signature which was given to him by Zatayevich. The name Zatayevich is known to all Kazakh people for his 500 key and song compositions. Sabit Mukanov asked Zatayevich to write 11 musical compositions. Among his folk song is Makpal, which Sabit Mukanov requested. The song was written to the note by Zatayevich. After it, one signed photo was memory. Sabit had a good relationship with other well-known people of our country. As an example, you can see this photo with Jambul and Kenen, and we can remember them through the piece of heritage.
Белгілі еліміздің атақты адамдарымен Сәбенің достық қарым-қатынастары, мысалы Жамбылмен, Кененмен деген сияқты өстіп кете береді. Соның бәрін кейде фото суреттер арқылы сөйлетіп отыруымызға болады.
Алдымыздағы турникеттер, бірінші турникетімізде бұл жерде Сәбит Мұқановтың отбасы, балаларының фотосуреттері қойылған.
There are photos of Mukhanov with his children, and other photos have been taken during his trips abroad. Here are the photos of people who communicated closely with the writer, his friends, other poets and writers. Sabit Mukhanov was a friend of Kenan Azarbayev and Jambul Jabayev. These photos show memories of the writer's family and his friends. It seemed the writer knew when he was alive that his house would be a museum. He made many photos when he traveled or met with people. His photo archive is extensive and full of history. Photos taken with bards and other well-known poets and writers are the legacium.
Biz қазір әдеби бөлімнің 3-ші залында тұрмыз.
We are in the third room of his house. Here are the photos of Sabit Mukanov with his family and captured moments when he traveled through Kazakhstan and abroad. Also you can see the gifts which were presented to him and gifts which have been brought from abroad. We also have here Sabit Mukanov's research works. He wrote a monograph work about Shokan Walikhanov and Abay called The Bright Stars. In 1967, owing to this monograph work, he was honored by the government. Sabit Mukanov is a writer with a class consciousness. He put great effort into the Kazakh nation and Kazakh literature. During the Soviet Union times, he wrote about the Kazakh nation and expressed his thoughts. In childhood, Sabit took lessons from Magzhan Jumabayev. He read Magzhan's poems and kept his books. Currently, those books are preserved in the museum.
Бұл кітап ұзақ жылдар бойы тиым салынды, өйткені Алашорданың насихаттайды деген не тағылды, кінә тағылды. Мұндағы
The book was prohibited for many years as it was accused of promoting the Alash party. It was lucky for Sabit Mukanov that at the beginning of the 20th century, there was no one who gave marks for literature. Everyone mentioned Mukanov's book about Magzhan Jumabayev. They said there are no great Kazakh poets after Abay and Magzhan. He wrote them with golden letters. There is a written note to Jibek and Ahmet Baytursunova. He checked Ahmet. He knew the Alash party. He also talked about Ahmet Baytursunova, who opened a Kazakh school and wrote the first Kazakh alphabet book for children. He wrote only truth in his book.
Таразы басын бірде түсіріп, бірде жоғарылады, бірде төмендетіп отырып, көп ақиқатты айтып тастаған.
It is a great achievement to open a house museum. There are a lot of people who should stay in our heart. Someone like Mukanov might not have had a dream to have his own museum to save his books and photos. Sabit is a writer who left behind novels and other prose works to enrich Kazakh literature. His works were written with a beautiful and mysterious language. Sabit's books preserved in his museums are a witness of his difficult times.
Біздің қазіргі тұрғанымыз әдеби бөлім деп аталады. Әдеби бөлімнің ішінде екінші залы. Бұл жерде Сабит Мұқановтың өзінің кітаптары қойылған, қолжазбаларының көшірмесі қойылған. Бұл қолжазбалар Сабиттің өзінің ең алғашқы шығармалары «Сұлу шаш».
Currently we are in the second hall of the literature department. Here are copies of Sabit Mukanov's books and manuscripts. The first one is a novel, Сұлу шаш, and the novel The Lost. The novel, Сұлу шаш, is Sabit's first composition that was written as a poem. The uniqueness of this composition in Kazakh literature is that it was the first composition translated into a foreign language, into French. And the writer's composition, The Lost, first edition, has also been saved. Photos of the main characters of this novel, Burkit and Batız, are also in the museum. The first page of this diary, which was given to Sabit by Sultanbek, took a place among his works. He has other novels such as Botagaz, Balawan Sholak, and Sirdarya. They are in the second part of the literature hall. Sabit's compositions were translated into 46 foreign languages, and one of them you can see in this hall. Sabit is not only a writer, but he is also a dramatist. He wrote a lot of screenplays, and photos of them have a place in this museum as well. His posters and manuscripts are in the literature hall.
Көптеген спектакльдердің сценарийін жазған болатын. Сол спектакльдердің қойылымдары көрсетілген фотосуреттер. Және сол афишалар қойылған, және өзінің қолжазбасы қойылған осы әдеби залда.
Sabit Mukanov saved the letters he wrote to Shakarim Kudayberdiyoğlu. It is not only precious heritage, but it shows Sabit Mukanov close to Abay's school.
Енді мына жерде біздің музейдегі ең құнды жәдігердің бірі
One of the most valuable pieces of our museum is the first edition of Mukhtar Awezov's Abay composition, which was published in 1942. It is priceless, as Mukhtar Awezov gave it to Sabit with his autograph. It is one of the precious pieces of heritage here. Awezov wrote to Sabit Mukanov with his own signature. To dear Sabit, owner of a big life and a big humanity, from M. Awezov.
Мұхтар Әуезов 8-ші ай 1942 жыл деп жазылған.
One magnificent piece of history in the museum is the writer's writing table. He worked hard at this table, typing at this black machine. And a lot of novels were written here. His handwriting attracts you as if it was written yesterday.
Музей үйіміздегі құнды жәдігерлерінің бірі мына Сәбеңнің.
Two of the writer's dombras are precious pieces of the museum. One dombra was presented to the writer by Kana Kasimov, and the second one by Temrekhan Dubisov. Both dombras are decorated with elephant's bones. When Sabit was tired from work, he played the dombra in his leisure time, as he had seen Kenan and Jambul do. He enjoyed playing dombra.
Ләззат алған кісі екен.
Біз қазір әдеби бөлімнің бірінші залында тұрмыз.
Currently, we are in the first hall of the literary part. You can see there a sculpture of the house where Sabit spent his childhood. It was given by his students in his village when the museum was opened in 1978, and the house shows the view of a Kazakh village of the 20th century. Sabit lived in this small house. A little boy became a well-known writer to the Kazakh nation. He left behind compositions which will be read by younger generations. Sabit Mukanov's name will live forever while the Kazakh nation remains.